Hi, Denny Johnson again. This is a very important part of the sequences on healing. This part of the sequence is about how to do the first of the 4 visualizations of the family tree designed to change the dynamics of your own energy in your body and to begin to change some of the dynamics that leads your spiritual body to affect your physical body. We've spoken about this before, about how your family tree, this is the red ones are from your father's family, the blue ones are from your mother's family, and how linking the spiritual body to the physical body, there are 4 primary channels of life force. Not well understood, not utilized by science, so you're going to need to take a little leap here of faith to recognize that you do have a spiritual body and you obviously have a physical body, and they're linked by a continuous flow of life force. The arrows that come up are what's called ascending. The arrows that come down, both the red and the blue, are called descending. And these are the forces that basically move the life force of the spiritual body into the physical body. And when for some reason or another these become broken, they produce a wide variety of symptoms. For example, difficulties. This is your father and your father's family. Difficulties between the father and his mother oftentimes affects digestion. Difficulty between father's mother and her mother affects also many forms of the immune system, causes lots of different difficulties about allergy. Most digestive disorders begin here. Yes, I know it's a big leap to recognize how the grandparents have emotional patterns from 100 years ago that are now continuously flowing inside of you, and this dynamic difficulty that occurred in your father's family can affect you. This produces in this line a particular place where there are broken pieces within the father's line, and these affect different glands and organs inside your body and ultimately lead to disintegration, permitting a disease or a loss, or even creating heart attacks or strokes or cancers or all of the relative symptoms that we know. On the mother's side, there's also 2 more ascending and descending flows, and these are the blue lines. Today we're going to work primarily on the mother's side of the family, and I'll begin to explain why. On the mother's side of the family, there are 3 primary grandmothers. These grandmothers are what we call grandmother number 6, 4, and 2. We're going to discuss 6, 4, and 2, how to do it, and why it's so important. If you start anywhere, I would suggest you really start with this one first. And the reason for it, it is a line which engages your feelings. Very important. This is also the line that engages cleaning the body. This is the organ of the skin. This is the function of the bowels. This is also the function of the waterline or kidneys. Between the kidneys and the bowels and the skin, roughly 90% of all of the cleaning of the body is here. So to be able to open this cleaning line, this opening line, very important. Now this line is composed of these 3 different grandmothers. Most people haven't met all of them. For example, your mother's father's mother. Now, each one of these places is going to be related to 4 primary things that we need to keep our attention on. I know there's going to be a lot of information about this, but with a little bit of practice it will become easier and easier for you to be able to do it. In the process of doing this, each one of these 3 locations, mother's, father's, mother, there will be a gland, an organ, which is a body system of some kind, and there will also be a symbol in nature, and there will be what we'll call a universal feeling. So first we take it to a gland. The gland here happens to be the pineal, just focus on a little white point in the middle of your head and that will suffice. It's not required that you understand really where it is, because as you start to do this, another part of you knows exactly what you're doing. So be able to look at this place, mother's father's mother, pineal. The organ we're referring to, that the pineal is expressing itself through, is the skin. So the organ is the skin. Now in this process of doing this, this is also what's called the cleaning line, or the elimination system of the body. Now in the same place, there's also going to be a symbol in nature. The symbol in nature here is 3 forms of water. 3 forms of water. The first form of water at the top, which is literally water coming down. The water coming down is snow. So part of the process is just feel what it's like, or imagine what it's like, or if you want to dream what it's like, dream about snow falling. Now, every time you do this, you go to this place in your body, in the head, and you do your best to imagine the most beautiful, radiant great-grandmother you can have. No, she's not going to be 120 years old. I would suggest that you make her about 25. And the reasons for this, that age at 25 is a very heart-oriented time. It's also oftentimes the healthiest age we will ever be unless we learn how to be healthier. So age 25, see her as a young woman in the middle of your head, snow is falling, and you walk up to her and you practice feeling. Now remember, the primary element that's going to work here is your feeling. It does not require a belief system. It does not require that you have some trust or some faith in some higher power at this point. This is only how to engage your spiritual body into your physical body. Just keep that in mind. We're going to do this primarily with focused imagination and feeling. Link this place from her into you. Now, if your mother had a difficult relationship with her own father, that prevents you from completely accessing it. If your grandfather had a difficulty with his own mother, there's a whole series of things that can happen here. Everything from panic to asthma, skin conditions of all kinds are here, and so on. Lung conditions also come along this line. Not necessary to worry about the conditions for the moment. What we're going to do is that we're going to take these broken lines that might be somewhere in your 642, 3 grandmothers, and we're going to learn how to repair them by imagination. Now, some people say, you know, how does imagination work? Well, imagination works in the same way you go to the cinema or you're watching a television program of some form. You know it's not true. It's just images on the wall or image in a little black box. And you cry, you laugh, you feel, you get frightened, you get aroused, whatever it is, somehow the imagery is changing your brain chemistry and your body chemistry. It's literally affecting your hormones. It's communicating with all the organs in your body and all the glands in your body. Now, if you use the same mechanism well, you can take the genetic patterns that you acquired at conception or you acquired subsequent to conception in utero or in early childhood. You can take these broken lines of unresolved feelings and you can begin to change them. This is true epigenetics and being able to change the unresolved feelings that you acquired from one of your grandmothers. Now, doesn't require that you know who they are or that you know anything about them, because most of us don't. If you can, I think that's helpful. But to be able to imagine her, beautiful, young, and alive, the snow is falling. Then you might consider saying words, if you want. Thank you for being my grandmother. I never got to meet you. Give her a hug. Notice what it brings up in you. Sometimes right away there's a tear that comes up. Let it flow. Sometimes you need to do this for a couple of months, but it will happen. Sooner or later you will break through to this feeling and you will feel something. Later we'll describe how you can increase it. You go there. I'm suggesting you can do this 5 minutes in a day. 5 to 10 minutes in a day will begin to restore this line very, very quickly. Now the second one, mother's mother's mother, your great-grandmother. Remember, the lines on this side have to do with cleaning. Now the mother's mother's mother, number 4, has to do with the bowels, and how the bowels are basically cleaning all the time, always eliminating debris in the body. But you know, one of the functions on Earth that does this, where most of the sewage plants used to go to, is the ocean. We used to pollute our rivers, give it to the ocean, let the ocean resolve it. This place here is about the ocean. Now, remember, there is a specific place to focus. I'm suggesting you focus on the heart, which, by the way, if you want, you can use the thymus or the pericardium, or you can use the spleen. It's the middle of the body. Now, the water in this location comes from around in 2. The way the venous flow of the heart comes back to the heart, the feeling here is the feeling of the river that refuses no river. Excuse me, ocean that refuses no river. This is the ability to be able to feel all the rivers that come to you and your tendency not to judge or hold or deny anything. So, same situation. You imagine she's 25. You do your best to feel her. You say, thank you for being my great-grandmother. You ask her maybe to help you in some form or another. No, this is not about ancestral worship or anything like that. This is about taking responsibility for the feelings that were transmitted to you genetically and how they are continuing to affect your own body and your well-being. And ideally, we would not want to transfer these on to our own children. So this is what's called number 4. The ocean that refuses no river. This is the experience of non-judgment, attachment. No. This is about letting go, about being able to receive. Sometimes the feeling here is called grace. The feeling up above, on a universal level, silence. Snow falling, silence. The ocean that refuses no river, grace, non-judgment. Down below, the last one, mother's mother. Now, many of us have met our mother's mother, but set aside whatever your social memories might be and use the universal phenomenon here, which happens to be down below the belly. You can use the kidneys if you want, the pelvic cavity if you want. This is a highly personal, highly feeling-oriented, very private place. And the feeling down here is the lake that has no ripple, or the lake of peace. The feeling of this grandmother, mother's mother, is the experience of personal peace. This is a mysterious place where the water comes at night. It's not seen. Sometimes it can be felt like the dewfall. Sometimes it can be experienced as a subterranean spring. Snow, ocean, lake. Snow, ocean, lake. Now, when you combine these 4 primary elements, the gland or location in the body, the grandmother, the symbol in nature, and then the eternal feeling, silence, grace, peace, silence, grace, peace. Thank you for being my grandmother. Go there, feel that, access it. Most of us are numb to these feelings because we didn't know them. Sometimes I say, mother's mother's mother, on a scale from 1 to 100, how much do you love her? I never met her. Well, let's call it a 3. How much more sensitive would you be if you increased your love for your grandmother to a 10 or a 12 or a 15 on a scale of 1 to 100? How much more would you feel? We want to restore the capacity to feel and restore this line. This is what we're working on. Now, you have some options at this point. These options happen to be, what do you want to consider? What I mean by that is, sometimes the reason something is broken is because one of these great-grandmothers basically did something unloving toward herself or someone else. So what are the three most unloving feelings in these three places? Because the only way that you're going to encounter some disease experience for yourself is that you engage in the same feeling that the grandmother did. So what's the common experience at number 6? Usually it's something about religion. That means you're going to have to check all your personal feelings about religion. Is your religion the only religion on earth that's superior, the only one that knows God? Superiority causes damage here. Are you angry at God? Are you angry at other religions? You don't believe in God? You're going to have to check for yourself what your feelings are about the divine. The divine's only a man, the divine's only a woman, the divine is energy, the divine's only love. You have to ask yourself, what are your feelings in this place? Now, one of the options in this place is you can take this higher if you want. For example, you can ask, according to whatever faith you have, you can ask your own divine creator for the opportunity to experience more of the true feelings in this place. You can say, show me the feelings in this part of my family tree that are affecting me. When you invite this divine help, it increases the capacity for you to receive it. It doesn't make whatever feelings there are go away, but it helps you begin to experience more of it. Why do you want to feel it? Because by feeling it, by holding it within yourself and then feeling it deeply and not running away from it, you have the capacity to begin to dissolve it. That's why it's so important. You can go down to the next one and say, show me the unresolved feelings here. Now these three have 3 different diameters. The first one I gave you was, what's my feeling about all things? About God, about all other souls, about religions, about everything known and unknown about spiritual phenomena. What's my personal feeling? Is it overwhelming? Am I resentful? Am I denying? Am I agnostic or an atheist? Do I have religious superiority, racial superiority, economic superiority? Any attitude unspoken about superiority in your great-grandmother will affect your body, but especially your skin. Conditions on the skin are from this grandmother. Now the next one, mother's mother's mother. This is about your feelings about relationships. Relationships to other people. We're not talking in this place about relationships to animals or relationships to nature. We're talking about relationships of a partner type. Man, woman, man, woman, woman, whatever that is, we're talking about human relationships, one to the other, to give and receive. Now, this is a lesson for all of us. But in this place, you have to examine jealousy, treachery, betrayal, adultery, infidelity of any form of thought, emotion, reaction. Your mind, don't do this, go there. There's all kinds of things that we do on this level. Have to examine that. The last one is, what are your private thoughts and feelings about yourself? No one else. It's not about what your mother said about you or what your father said. It's how you feel about yourself. Now, if you take these primary elements and you sweep them through you, this is not necessarily a meditative experience, but you can make it one. I'm going to play some music for you. Sometimes you can go to one grandmother, Feel the music. Snow is falling. Take your time. You can take an hour. You can practice for a day, a month, until you can actually begin to feel the snow falling on your skin. See the grandmother. Feel. Give her a hug. Whisper the words. Or do it by thought. Thank you. And feel. Feel. Open it up. Silence. Stay there as long as you want. I do suggest periodically open your eyes. Do it with your eyes open. It's not just a meditative experience. Keep using your imagination. Then go to the next one. The heart. Mother's mother's mother. Feel. Feel the ocean that receives. Thank you. Show me all the feelings I deny in relationships. Stay as long as you like. Eyes open, eyes closed. You can walk. You can lay down. You can do this while you're doing anything else. Snow, ocean, lake. Down in your belly, a lake. The lake that has never had a wave. Snow, ocean, lake. Sometimes just stay one place. Then go to another one, or the other one. Remember, there is no precise recipe. It has to do with your feelings. You can add fragrances if you want, colors if you want, you can add movements if you want. What you're doing is now you are putting something there that wasn't there before. Your attention, your desire, your intention to want to change and grow. Yes, the result is a change and a symptom or a disease. But the desire to know the truth, the desire to grow, to choose to love more, and to love one grandmother, and another grandmother, and another grandmother, until eventually you are changing the contour of the feeling that flows through your body from these three sacred women. I know this is a lot of information, but this is a very valuable thing to do. It will touch you very deeply. Give yourself the opportunity to use it. You can find your own music. You can have the pieces that I like so well. Feel, feel, feel. Snow. Ocean. Lake. Silence. Grace. Peace. Eventually, we restore this line. This is the first of 4. Next time, we do another. Practice. See you soon.